Right now in Oklahoma City, firefighters are battling blazes fueled by 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts this morning. Meanwhile, in Amarillo, rancher Earl has not left his porch since dawn. The sky turned wrong, and he knows. And up in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Karen's basement still has 4 inches of standing water from last week's flooding. 50-plus tornadoes in 1 week, record flooding in 3 states, and the worst of April is not over yet. So, do you know what your weather looks like from Thursday through Monday of next week right now? The answer involves 5 straight days of severe weather across the 20-state corridor, and y'all need to hear this. Stay through 4 minutes. That is when we name the most dangerous day of this outbreak for your region. This is the most active, locked, and loaded severe weather stretch the United States has seen since 2011. And everything happening right now, the fires, the flooding, the incoming storms, connects to one single pattern shift. Straight Talk living anywhere from the Plains to Dixie Alley this week demands your full attention every day. To understand what is building this week, you need to know what just happened in the last 7 days. Between April 13th and 17th, more than 50 confirmed tornadoes ripped across the plains and upper Midwest. Ottawa, Kansas took a direct EF1 tornado hit on April 14th, one of the strongest in the entire outbreak. And then up in Rochester, Minnesota, multiple confirmed tornadoes were caught on traffic cameras footage you do not forget. Over in Marathon County, Wisconsin, Ringgold and Weston took direct hits, leaving neighborhoods in ruins across the county. Meanwhile, Chicago O'Hare recorded 2.43 inches of rain in a single day, historic for April. In Illinois alone, the tornado track went through Lena, Pecatonica, Roscoe, Mendota, Gibson City, and Buckley in a line. And the flooding that followed that is still affecting your neighbors right now across Michigan, Indiana, and Wisconsin. Rivers across Muskegon, Grand Rapids, and Newaygo County in Michigan are still elevated with active flood warnings today. Over in Fort Wayne, Indiana, vehicles were stranded on roads that looked completely passable at noon before flooding hit. Madison and Portage, Wisconsin, are still dealing with standing water in basements and low-lying roads right now today. But the story does not end there. Ground saturated, atmosphere reloading, and round 2 is already loading. That brings us to what is happening today, and your most immediate danger today is not a tornado. It is a fire that can outrun your car, and it is happening right now across Oklahoma and Texas. Oklahoma City and Tulsa are under critical fire weather conditions with wind gusts reaching 50 miles per hour today. And over in Amarillo and Lubbock in the Texas Panhandle, single-digit humidity combines with those 50-mile-per-hour gusts. Earl has lived in the Texas Panhandle for 60 years and says this fire weather feels dangerously personal to him. He watched 300 acres burn in under 40 minutes last spring, and he says today's conditions are identical. Do you live within 30 miles of a red flag warning zone because one downed power line changes everything today? Over in Wichita, Kansas, strong northwest winds and critically low humidity persist through the end of Thursday. Near Oklahoma City or Amarillo, dry brush or dead leaves in your yard make today the day to clear them. And parts of Florida are under fire weather watches today too, a completely different region, same dangerous formula. Good Lord, red flag warnings stretching from Texas all the way to Minnesota and into Florida simultaneously. That is not a localized problem. That is a nationwide fire weather emergency happening right now today. Meanwhile, on the West Coast, a Pacific system is dropping 12 to 18 inches of Sierra Nevada snow today. Mammoth Mountain, Lake Tahoe, Sequoia, and Kings Canyon are all seeing heavy accumulations with more coming Wednesday. Snow levels crash from 6,500 feet down to 4,500 feet by Wednesday. Chain controls are mandatory. And the California coast from the Bay Area north is seeing wind-driven rain through Tuesday with localized flooding risk. Now here's the twist that Pacific Energy ejecting east is the very spark igniting this 5-day plains outbreak. So what you are watching happen in California today is the opening chapter of your week's weather story. Now we are tracking 5 separate danger days, but which one poses the greatest risk to your address? At 4 minutes, you will know which day has the highest tornado parameter values of this entire 5-day stretch. But first, here's a question nobody is asking. Is this a normal spring pattern or something fundamentally different? The answer is no, this is not normal, and understanding why changes everything about how you prepare this week. Before we get there, you need to understand what fuels this outbreak and why your area cannot ignore it. Burn this into your memory. Calm Wednesday skies over the plains are the most dangerous skies of your week. So Thursday, April 23rd is when the outbreak begins. Plains residents, you need to be ready now. The Storm Prediction Center has issued a level 2 slight risk from Sioux Falls all the way down to northern Oklahoma. Now, do you know what a 15% risk of severe weather within 25 miles of your location looks like? That means 1 in 6 people in the zone see a severe weather event within a half-mile of home. From Sioux Falls through Minneapolis, Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas, and into northern Oklahoma, that is your Thursday corridor. But here's where it gets really serious. A secondary low is developing in Oklahoma and Kansas Thursday afternoon. And that secondary dryline setup could produce a discrete supercell with tornado parameter values of 5 to 10. Here's what those numbers mean. A tornado parameter of 10 is the maximum value on the entire scale. Significant tornado parameter values of 5 to 6 stretch from Texas into Nebraska Thursday afternoon and evening. Now, Dale Simmons outside Enid, Oklahoma heard 10 on that tornado parameter scale and immediately started making calls. Dale called his daughter in Norman, his Tulsa son, and his shelter neighbor all before noon on Tuesday. 60 seconds from the 4-minute promise, what you hear next is the one thing that could save your life. Here's the kicker about Thursday. The question is not whether conditions support violent tornadoes, but whether storms fire. A discrete storm firing the Kansas to North Texas dry line between 6 and 9 p.m. Thursday you run. Here's the real deal twist. Iowa and Nebraska look messier, meaning damaging winds dominate there on Thursday. Thursday's most dangerous single scenario is Oklahoma isolated if it fires cleanest supercell setup of the week. Here's your 4-minute promise. Sunday, April 27th is the most dangerous single day of this entire outbreak. But before Sunday, let us walk through Friday because Friday has its own serious threat for your region. Friday, April 24th keeps the outbreak alive. Severe weather from Michigan all the way back into East Texas. So by Friday morning, you wake up to storms still active across Illinois, Arkansas, and the lower Mississippi Valley. Do you know what 60-plus miles per hour winds do to tree limbs, power lines, and your flat-out vulnerable older rooftop overnight? Friday's primary hazard is straight-line wind, no rotation needed, just a fast-moving line hitting your neighborhood at night. And if you live between Memphis and St. Louis, Friday overnight is your window of greatest vulnerability this entire week. Now, Sandra Collins, a retired nurse in Little Rock, fills her bathtub and charges every battery before any Friday system. But Sunday, April 27th, that is the day that hits different for millions of Americans who are not prepared. Sunday has what meteorologists are calling a very favorable dryline setup near Dallas, Fort Worth, Oklahoma City, and Tulsa. That dryline setup could generate an enhanced risk upgrade from the Storm Prediction Center before the weekend arrives. And here is the twist. Sunday does not target the Midwest, it targets Dixie Alley specifically. Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee, and Georgia have seen almost no severe weather in all of 2026 until right now. Nobody is ready in Dixie Alley. Your neighbors have had almost no severe weather warnings all year to practice. James Crawford, a retired teacher in Huntsville, Alabama, said he had not thought about his storm shelter since last October. Good grief, James found his shelter, checked his battery radio, and called his wife's parents all within 20 minutes. So do you know where your shelter is right now? Because Sunday, April 27th is when Dixie Alley gets tested. The SPC has Sunday's slight risk in place. Already expect an enhanced upgrade before the weekend arrives. Now, Sandra called from Little Rock Tuesday. She stocked batteries, filled water jugs, and warned her neighbors. Sandra said 3 neighbors had never heard of a derecho, yet they live right in Friday's worst threat path. Roaring back with a vengeance, this is Dixie Alley's first real severe weather test of 2026. And then Saturday reloads Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas with hail, damaging winds, and a conditional tornado threat by afternoon. 3-inch giant hail is being modeled as a real possibility in Oklahoma and Kansas for Saturday afternoon and evening. Bob Martin, a farmer outside Wichita, said 3-inch hail in April destroyed his wheat crop in 2014. So Bob covered his equipment Tuesday and said he will be sheltered by noon Saturday, no gamble, no exceptions. After that, Monday, April 28th may be the final punch targeting the Ohio Valley and Mississippi corridor. Now, if you live in Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, Kentucky, or Georgia, Monday is your elevated tornado threat day. That system ejects fully by Monday morning and looks like a potent, organized, severe weather setup, folks. Significant tornadoes in Tennessee, Mississippi, and Alabama on Monday are a real possibility. Meteorologists are watching closely. And then Tuesday brings a brief break before severe weather returns to Texas and Oklahoma by Wednesday afternoon. But do not miss the next section. The question you have not thought to ask matters most this week. So let us recap 5 straight days of severe weather across your region from Thursday through Monday. Here's the real question. What single thing tonight reduces your personal risk across all 5 of these days? The answer is not what most people over 50 expect, and we are covering it right now. 5 days, 20 states, tornado parameters hitting 10, and the most vulnerable areas have had no warnings all year. Here is the twist. Most people miss the overnight wind wall at 2 a.m., may be your biggest risk. Do you have a battery-powered weather radio at home right now? That is your single most important fix tonight. Here's your complete 8-step action plan covering every threat coming your way across all 5 of these days. Step 1 tonight, walk to your lowest interior room and make sure every family member knows where it is. Can you get there from your bedroom in 15 seconds with the lights completely out? Practice that route tonight. Step 2, Oklahoma, Kansas, Iowa, Nebraska, or South Dakota. Your Thursday danger window opens at 1 p.m. sharp. Storms fire along that dry line between 1 and 2 p.m. Thursday. Your decision window narrows fast after that. Step 3, download an alert app that rings through silent mode and wakes you if any warning drops overnight. Plain and simple, a phone on silent has no role in your severe weather survival plan this week. Step 4, Dixie Alley residents. Your primary window is Saturday through Monday, and your preparedness has likely drifted. Your state has had almost no warnings all year. Review your shelter plan tonight, if not since last fall. Here's what happens when you skip Step 4. James Crawford almost skipped it too. And Sunday is coming. Step 5, do yourself a solid and build a 72-hour emergency kit tonight. Water, medications, flashlight, radio. No two ways about it, derecho power outages last 3 to 5 days, and being unprepared multiplies every risk. Step 6, check on your neighbors over 70 who live alone before Thursday arrives, not during the warnings. Do you have a neighbor on a landline who cannot get smartphone alerts? Your call tonight could save their life. Step 7, fire weather zones in Oklahoma, Texas, and Kansas. Do not attempt any outdoor burns today or Wednesday. Clear dry debris from your foundation now, because if a fire starts there Wednesday, your insurance denies the claim. Step 8, keep your gas tank above half all week so you can evacuate without stopping at a station. Now zoom out. This outbreak is bigger than any single week, and you need to understand exactly why. The pattern driving it is locked in for 30 straight days, fueled by El Nino, now confirmed by NOAA. NOAA is forecasting a 93% probability of full El Nino conditions by October through December. That means for your southeast, the wettest and stormiest stretch in years is beginning right now, not next fall. Carol Hayes, a retired bookkeeper in Memphis, has been through 2 El Nino winters and started stocking up Tuesday. Carol said the last time this happened in her area, power was out 4 days and neighbors left without supplies. And here's the twist nobody expected. Early May may bring a brief Midwest break as instability suppresses south. But the southeast, Dixie Alley, and your Gulf Coast will see increasing storm activity all the way through early June. No living American over 50 has experienced a fully developed El Nino pattern without several notable severe weather outbreaks. For the plains and Midwest, it means a persistent active storm track with severe weather potential nearly every single week. And here's the second twist. El Nino suppresses Atlantic hurricanes, but Gulf Coast storms intensify 30% faster. So get used to this. It is your weather story from now through next winter without any significant interruption. After this week's outbreak, another setup arrives Tuesday into Wednesday, and Texas and Oklahoma are back in the zone. In fact, this April produced more 5-day outlooks than any April in the past decade. That is no coincidence. The European GFS and Canadian models are in rare three-way agreement that this dangerous active pattern continues through May. And here's the twist that hits different for homeowners. Your insurance deductible applies to every single separate event. One hail event with 3-inch stones costs the average homeowner between $15,000 and $30,000 in repairs. So tonight, take 15 minutes and read your homeowner's deductible, because filing that claim in May costs you more. Honest to goodness, the next 30 days of Middle America weather will demand more of you than all of last year combined. And if you are a homeowner between Oklahoma City and Memphis, your insurance decisions this season need a review tonight. So if you are in Oklahoma, Kansas, Iowa, or Nebraska, drop your city below. We track Thursday's path live. And if you are in Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee, or Georgia, drop your location. Sunday through Monday targets you. Or the Carolinas, Virginia, or Kentucky, let us know your location. Monday aims at your region by that evening. We opened with Earl watching the wrong sky in Amarillo, Karen's flooded Milwaukee basement, and 50 tornadoes in 1 week. You now know what comes next. Thursday's Oklahoma dry line, Friday's overnight wall of wind, Sunday's Dixie Alley setup. We covered the 5-day outbreak corridor, the 8-step plan, the El Nino pattern, locking this all in for 30 days. And from Sierra snow to Oklahoma fire weather to Thursday tornado parameters hitting 10, this is your April, y'all. So are you the one who takes severe weather seriously? Share this with the family member who does not. That 8-step plan is the difference between watching this outbreak on a radar app and surviving it safely at home. You now know more about this week's weather than most people living directly inside the 20-state danger corridor. And Sandra said it best. She told her neighbors Tuesday, prepare now, so Thursday night is just another night. So stay weather aware, stay safe, and come back tomorrow, because Thursday's dry line is already shifting tonight. The Thursday Oklahoma supercell setup contains one detail we could not fully cover today. It changes the Friday timeline. That detail determines which Dixie Alley cities face Monday's highest risk, covered in the very next video. The next video drops in 24 hours. What it reveals about Sunday's Dixie Alley threat will surprise you.